Hello traders. In this video I'm going to try and get you to think about the custom scanner in a little bit different light. Think of it more like a dating service where you're trying to visualize what that ultimate person might possibly look like. Well, what does that ultimate stock look like? What are some of the characteristics that I'd like to see in it? I'm going to pop up custom search, but first I want to talk about the overall market conditions. You can see that the market sold off hard, rallied, and now we're back down on that low. We're below the 200-day moving average, so everything has been getting nailed. I'm recording this on a Sunday. I think we're close to another capitulation low like this, but I want to see a candle with a long wick like this, and I'd like to see the market closing towards the upper end of that wick and ideally above the 200-day moving average. So if I see something similar to this down in here on that air pocket, I want to see buyers instantly snapping up stocks, rallying that stock back up to, or the SPY back up to the 200-day moving average. When I see that deep low like that and that sharp reversal, this is where you want to start looking for stocks. This is where you can get some bargains longer term. And then obviously as we close around that 200-day moving average and we start poking above it, you'll want to definitely take some longer term positions as well. Now you have to be a little bit careful in here because option implied volatilities are going to be very high. You can either do a search and look for low option implied volatilities, and I've shown you how to do that, or you can sell some out of the money put credit spreads as well. There's another tactic where you sell out of the money put credit spreads and you use that credit to purchase out of the money call debit spreads. All of those strategies will work, but we're going to focus on the underlying stock right now and how to find those setups using the custom search. So I've just popped it up right here. And the one thing that I'll say about a deep market sell-off like we've seen recently, you're going to find some stocks that have been absolutely punished and are way overextended to the downside. And in those particular instances, you have to be able to look at the stock and decide if it was weak before the market sell-off even happened, well then perhaps there's a reason for that stock to be down a lot. There are other stocks that would have been strong relative to the market before that decline, and they really don't want to get pulled down, but the overall market is forcing investors to sell them. People get margin calls. They don't just sell the bad stocks, they sell the good and the bad. Hence the term, the baby gets thrown out with the bathwater. So the first thing I'd like to do is just think about what these different fields represent. TL20, uptrend lines or downtrend lines on a 5-minute basis or a 1-day basis. It'll give you a general feel for the direction of that stock. And the same thing with the breaches. So right now you're going to have a lot of stocks that have that downtrend line, but when those downtrend lines start getting breached to the upside, these will be really good searches. Those are stocks that you're going to want to try and pick up on. The trade signals right now are very bearish, and we can find that across almost every stock. But in the early going of this bounce, you're going to start seeing stocks that have buy signals on M30, M15, M5 pressure. You're going to see stocks starting to move higher that still have that negative residual pressure, and those are the ones we really want to focus in on. We know that if it's got negative pressure and positive price action, that's a divergence we love. Yes, we'd like to see the stock moving well relative to the SPY. So for sure, this is going to be a good search for us to have right here. Versus strength versus sector, absolutely. Now in the early stages, we might find some stocks that have been in a compression and are now breaking out of the compression to the upside. Beautiful. So on the way down, the stock has not really wanted to go down. It's more compressing on a base, compressing on a base, compressing on a base. It's been able to tread water when the market's down. This would be a good search to run right now because as much selling pressure as there could be on that stock, it's still holding its own. That's a good sign. And when they release to the upside, absolutely. Then you want to mark these bullish um, fields. Engulfing pattern, fantastic. You want to look for those engulfing patterns. So let's say that the market bounces Monday. Well, you'll probably want to put up bullish engulfing pattern. I've already talked about the option liquidity down below here, so I'm going to put that at 2, and I'm going to put weekly options. I'm just going to focus on stocks with liquid options right now. And if I ran this scan right now, I may not find any results. No, I didn't have any results, and I'm not surprised because the market sold off, I think, about 50 points, yes, 50 S&P points on Friday, with most of those losses coming very late in the day. So no engulfing patterns, but as the market starts to rebound, yeah, you can start marking some of these on an intraday basis, and even at the end of the day, look for those engulfing patterns. Now you're going to get a lot of results on that first snapback rally, so you'll use engulfing along with other custom search fields like strength versus SPY. Capitulation, that's a deep air pocket low and a rebound by the stock. That would be a good one to look for. Percent range, this is when you can already be looking for this percent range, looking for something that's down on that 10 percentile. Down in the lower half, you've got all sorts of criteria that you can search for, as opposed to more of the price action and proprietary indicator types of selections. These are more general, like the average daily volume of the stock, the stock's at the money implied volatilities for the options, has more to do with an option strategy that you would be picking, the stock's volatility. We've gone through this in prior videos, so I'm not going to rehash all of this. Where's it at relative to the percent 60-day range? I am going to pick one of the fields down here because personally, I want to make sure that I'm picking stocks where the baby is being thrown out with the bathwater. So I'd like to see the stock above the 100-day moving average. Maybe I'm even able to find some that are above the 50-day average. If the stock is above the 50-day moving average in this market drop, it's probably got some good relative strength to it. So we can start with that and see what comes up. Actually, there are quite a few candidates, and I can almost guarantee you that these stocks are all going to look pretty good. So it's a great starting point. Look how easy that was. Very good option liquidity. Stock simply above the 50-day moving average. Let's take a look at what we've got. So I'm going to use a daily chart for right now. You can see a nice uptrend line that's been broken. And by all means, if I see something I really like here, I'm going to drop a GTC alert because if that stock starts to rebound, I want to know about it. Autodesk, wow, what a gorgeous gap higher. It's come down through this support line right here, which was the opening from that gap. I'm going to put an alert there because that's also close to that prior all-time high. I'll put another alert there. You can't have too many alerts. So yeah, this would be interesting to me if it came back up and got through that price level. Strong stock, definitely one that's sold off because of the market. Here I've already got an alert. APC looks great. Already have an alert there. COP looks great through this compression right here, through this horizontal resistance right here. I like all that stuff. Yeah, if it can get through the high, sure, I'll take another look at it. DDD, big breakout here. Stock runs higher, hits resistance at the 200-day moving average, but still some decent relative strength. So I could go through and do all this, but why don't I bring the custom search back in? Let's see if I can add another field here, and maybe we can already find something that has decent strength versus the SPY. We'll mark M30, 15, M5. Well, why, Pete? Why did you do that? The market sold off hard in the last 2 hours of trading on Friday. This stock actually had relative strength into the close. Well, if it had relative strength into the close, maybe it's going to be one of the first ones to reverse on a market rally and head higher. So, very easy. It's above the 50-day moving average. We've got decent relative strength. Let's see what we got. COP we looked at, DDD we looked at. I like this. I like this one a lot. Here, I just need to see it above that opening price, so right in there. If that stock can get above that opening price, it's above this horizontal resistance level, now support level, and it's testing it right here. So this could be a very nice trade. I know that I've got that 200-day moving average as upward resistance to it, but this stock has wanted to go. Let's put our strength indicator up. See how there's your relative strength. So now I really should be looking for stocks that have this relative strength. So I'm just going to keep this up. FSLR. We actually did a put spread on that, bullish put spread that expired Friday. It's been a really nice one for us. Look at that relative strength. This stock wants to go. Can be a choppy one though. It moves. I'm going to put an alert right there. GLD. GLD has gotten through that horizontal resistance level. It's contra to the market. So yeah, we've seen some flight to safety in gold. I'm not big on this one because the reason gold is strong is because the market is weak. MBIA, financial sector, mortgages. Look at this strength right in here. That is gorgeous. Look at that. Yeah, this stock wants to go higher for sure. And it's already through this horizontal resistance level right there. So that's support right now at 884. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Put a GTC right there so that whenever it gets through that resistance, it's making a new relative high. I want to know about it. Very, very strong stock. I'm actually I'm not gonna chase this one. I'm gonna put a GTC. If the stock drops below it, then I want to know about it because I want to see how it's performing relative to the market. But look at that strength. When I showed you in another video, but I love it. This stock gapped up, got through resistance, and now it's pulled back to that horizontal resistance. It wanted to go on Friday, but the market weakness was just too much for it, so it reversed all the way. This stock is going to jump. I love this stock. I think this thing is going to go even Monday. So see where that resistance level is right there? I'm going to drop a GTC right there. And there's a good chance the stock will get through it. If it does, I think it's got a good chance to maybe run to 195, maybe even 200 in the next couple of weeks. So let's use some different criteria. Again, all we did, good option liquidity, stock above the 50-day MA, showed some good relative strength. We can loosen this parameter and we can go down to the 100-day MA. And we can scan to see what results we turn up there, and much the same. So we didn't pick up any new stocks. Well, Snap's actually a new one. So look at this. I love this. This is fantastic. See that horizontal resistance right there? Stock comes down, touches it once, bounces. It's come down a second time, and it just doesn't want to go down with the market here. It is absolutely finding support right in here. That $16 level is going to hold. I love this stock to go higher. This is a really good one. I'm going to drop a GTC alert just to keep so that I can remember to keep an eye on it. I'm going to be looking for it to close above these wicks here, or actually trade above it, excuse me. So now I'll have an alert. I really like Snapple here, or excuse me, Snapchat. Boy, that shows you how long I've been trading. So in any case, very, very simple search. So instead of pounding through a bunch of searches, what I want to do is just talk about what some of the characteristics might be for stocks that are starting to lead the rebound back. You're going to want to look at early indications that that stock is starting to move higher, and you're going to want to see this negative pressure, this residual negative pressure with upward movement. So there are a few ways that you can find that. One would be, hey, show me stocks that have that negative pressure and have a bullish trend line breach. So this would be a downward sloping trend line, 20 periods, 5 minutes. That's about 2 hours roughly. And it'd be roughly 3.5 hours, 4 hours for M15. So that sell-off from Friday would be breached to the upside. If you wanted to go a little bit longer on this, you absolutely could, because there are a lot of stocks that have been down for the last 2 weeks. So you could even look at a trend line breach on H2 or H4 just for the heck of it. Let's see if anything comes up. No, everything is down, down, down. So we're not seeing any upside breaches, but you're going to see these rapidly when the market starts to rebound, because these deeply oversold stocks are going to start to pop. They're going to start to come back. Now, that's an excellent search to use with this pressure. Obviously, the trade signals, when they start triggering even longer and longer term, as the move unfolds, will be better and better to search for. You can also, on a end of day basis, start looking for these engulfing patterns and start drilling into shorter time frames. Now, when I'm day trading, engulfing and capitulation patterns on a 5 or a 15-minute basis are really, really good to look for. But when I'm swing trading, it needs to be more significant. I need to know that that stock has actually moved through and had a big bar, a big engulfing bar that's happened over a longer period of time. So the daily capitulation and engulf are much better to use. The percent 90-10 range, yeah, for sure. This, if I clicked it, you're going to see a ton of stocks that are down in the lower part of the trading range right now, but they're not going to be above that 100-day moving average. And there you go. They are just weak as can be. So let me do this. I do want to show you the difference between the baby getting thrown out with the bathwater and just what is absolutely just a weak stock, and why I would be focusing. So we're going to do sell signals in here. Actually, let's go longer term. Let's go sell signals on the D1 and H4 time frame. And let's see if we can find any that have been pounded down. So here you've got an instance where it's earnings related. I would stay away from these, because that earnings decline could have follow through. Maybe the earnings were really horrible. And I'm looking at another one on the list. Facebook is similar. You had the possible privacy infringement that's weighing on the stock, and there's an FTC investigation. So yeah, I would stay away from something like that as well. So if you're seeing a big decline, now what's a little bit, you have to know the news on this one. You're going to see other stocks where they've been selling off before the market did, and that's a sign of just underlying weakness in it, and those I would want to stay away from. So let's see if I can find one. 3M, a little bit, actually this coincides with the market. Let's put the SPY overlay up, and you can see when the market started to drop, it started to drop. I'm looking for, when I'm talking about inherently weak stocks, I'm just looking for something that had been selling off before the market had even sold off. So I'm going to try and bring up some other ones here. You can see as long as it coincides with the market drop, then it should have a chance to rebound. And I'm having almost a hard time because of the search criteria that I've picked. See, this stock held in very, very long and then finally started to roll over. CRM also had a little bit of news, a takeover on Mule. So still looking for a lot of these stocks have just flat out, they've sold off with the market. So they weren't weak ahead of time, but that's what I'm looking for right now. Well, fortunately, I'm not able to find any. Just make sure that the stock was not creeping lower when the market was still rallying. Those are the ones that you want to avoid. As long as this downward movement in the stock coincides with the market, then you know it's overall market pressure. And here's a stock that's right on that 200-day moving average, right on major horizontal support. I like it. Look, it's been strong relative to the overall market. So these are stocks that you'd want to be looking for. Came up on bearish search because of the trade signal, but when I flip through charts, I can visually see the strength and how it's just Friday was just too much. And they finally started to go after the stock a little bit, but that 200-day moving average is holding very nicely. So MGM would definitely be a stock that I'd be interested in, but I want to see it above this level. If it closed on Monday below this 200-day moving average, I would move that alert right to the 200-day moving average, because if it poked back above it, I'm interested. I'm interested. Could be an excellent call purchase. It might be a bullish put spread opportunity. So again, with regards to the custom search, think about the criteria that would make this stock attractive to you. And instead of thinking about what the indicators are trying to show you and how they work, if you just intuitively visualize what that stock is going to look like, then you can start to select your parameters and various combinations and find an unbelievable number of stocks that fit that pattern. And then when you start flipping through the charts, you'll go, oh yeah, that one looks like it could really work. So I hope this tutorial helps you. Thank you.